and welcome to Blossoming Children. So, today I have a special privilege and a joy to talk to a young Yuva. And I'm really excited to speak to him because I've seen him grow up and to hear his perspective and to get a young person's perspective on Sahaj meditation, Srimataji. It's always exciting. So, please join me in welcoming Aditya to Blossoming Children. Welcome, Aditya.
Hi, Jason. Hi.
Jai Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, so I'm 19 years old and I'm currently studying computer science in college. I grew up in Texas, but now I'm attending college in Boston. So,
Did you grow up in a Saj family? Are your parents Saj yogis? Where did you go to school? Tell us a bit more about yourself.
okay, yeah, so both of my parents are Sajogis, and I was born into Saj Yoga basically. And so I've been meditating my whole life. And I went to ISPS in Dharamshala for 2 years when I was in fourth and fifth grade. And I would have liked to go for longer, but um, I ended up coming back here to study for like middle school and high school. Yeah.
Was that hard? I mean, to go from fourth and fifth grade to a international school when you were used to school here and being with family, what was that like?
Yeah, so it was a little bit difficult at first, being a little kid. You're kind of attached to your parents, but I think like it took me a little while to get used to the fact that my parents weren't there. There was a lot of crying involved as a little kid. Um, but I think like in a way it was good because it kind of um helped me to, I guess, kind of release from the attachment a little bit. Um, so I could learn to be a bit more independent. I could live life on my own. So
Yeah, I'm sure that was really hard. I mean, in adjusting, even though there's something good that comes out of it, adjusting is always hard. Was it hard coming back to middle school over here after being gone for 2 years? How did that transition go?
yeah, it was a little bit difficult because after going to Dharamshala for 2 years, just because of the way the schedules aligned of the classes, I was now in a grade higher than what my um than the grade my friends were in, like the friends that I had when I left. So I basically didn't really know anyone. So it took me some time to like um make new friends and also to, I guess, kind of adapt to the way classes are taught and the way that it works here. Because I had never really, like, this is my first time like going to middle school after coming back to from India. And so middle school is pretty different.
It is. And middle school is an adjustment, no matter if you were in elementary in America, never mind coming not used to it. So, what kept you grounded? I mean, how did you survive those, years of stress and new friends and adjusting? So, you came into sixth grade, but your friends were still in fifth grade.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. And also like on top of that, they were like going to be going to a different middle school, so I wasn't really going to see them anyways. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, I guess like to answer your question, like one thing that helped keep me grounded, like one of the main things was meditation because it kind of helped me stay in balance and um, I guess not let negative thoughts kind of come in and like it helped me to basically stay positive and stay focused on the present moment rather than the past being like, oh, all my friends are now gone and stuff like that.
And so you were actually using meditation in a daily life and finding its benefits, which is not normal for a sixth grader to use it. And you grew up in Sahaja Yoga meditating. Was there a point in your life when you realized that I enjoy this on my own? I'm not doing it because my parents asked me to do it. What point was that? Because clearly you're saying in sixth grade you were relying on it. Um, did going to India get that for you? How did that transition happen? That you were standing up and saying, "Okay, I want to meditate not because my parents asked me to, but I find it beneficial and helpful."
So I guess more on my own. I when I was younger, I was just kind of doing it because like, that's what my parents did, and like when you're a kid, that's kind of what you do. And so like during middle school, that was kind of also what was going on for some time. Like going to Dharamshala helped teach me, um, I guess like it helped me learn more about like living collectively and meditating, and also um, I guess more of the like it was a Sahaj school, so like I got to learn a lot of like the Sahaj principles and values behind what we do and that sort of thing. But I guess in high school is when more of the independent sort of appreciation of it started, because like I started to, I guess, become more exposed to the world and understand how the world works and like what's going on, and how much meditation has actually been helping me, and how much people who don't meditate like would benefit if they did.
Hmm. So high school, was that hard? Because high school is all about social peer pressure, and you're currently in college right now. How has the transition between high school and college been? How do you cope with social pressures? Because I'm guessing your values are different. So how does that play out?
Yeah, so I guess in general, from like most people who live here, my values are pretty different, but um I think that like being inside yoga, you have like a certain set of um, like principles and values and that you want to follow, and I guess because of that, you sort of usually tend to gravitate towards people who have more similar, like who hold similar like ideals, I guess. And so I think I ended up just naturally sort of gravitating towards people who weren't really um, like pressuring into doing things that I didn't want to do and that sort of thing. Yeah. So
Amazing that you survived those years and you didn't feel the peer pressure and you felt comfortable in your own values, and you know, by God's grace, found friends that had similar values. I think that's really important. Did you have hobbies that, got you in groups, or because social grouping is such a big part of high school and college? So what were you doing that gave you that space?
yeah, so there were some clubs and groups that I was involved in high school. So one of them was the swim team that I did for 3 years from 10th grade until my senior year. Um, and so like I don't know, it was a very like I got to become close friends with a lot of people from the team because we basically spend several hours together in the morning every day for 3 years, just working out, and um, also like after or like in between when we had breaks, we would like just kind of hang out and talk and that sort of thing. So
I think that's key, right? Having um, activities that involve you in sports or clubs that can fill in some time, and so swimming was such a wonderful way to do that. And you said you're living where now? Where's your university?
So right now my university is in Boston. Um,
And what was that like going to college, being in the dorm? What was that transition like?
Honestly, like going into it, I was a bit um worried that I would end up with like roommates who were not really um I guess who didn't like share similar values and like did things in the dorm that I wouldn't really have wanted. Um but I ended up getting lucky. Like I had a random assignment and I ended up with like a good roommate, and so we've gotten to stick together, and um it's been honestly like a pretty good like living situation. And I guess in terms of like staying far from home, it um to be honest, like I was kind of excited to like go out and um be somewhere new and like meet new people, explore new places, and that sort of thing. But after some time, the um I guess the it sort of wore off the excitement of being in a new place, because now it was just a place that I was in for a long time. And I sort of started to miss home and my parents and my family. But um,
You know, you said I got lucky with the roommate. I don't think it's luck. I think it's God taking care of you. I
yeah,
think, you know, when you have a desire and when you have something that's important to you and it matters, somehow God creates a way to take care of you and protect you in this big wide world and creates opportunities. And you know, you've been connected with God throughout your life. So why wouldn't there be a protection, you know?
yeah.
Um, and also, recently you mentioned earlier that you were contributing for meditation for younger children. You were leading sessions for younger children. So, what do you think are some things that make meditation for younger children interesting or engaging? And what format should there be? And what is the format that you're doing that you're presenting to younger children?
So I think one thing that's really important for kids is they like to hear stories. So it's important to make um, like if you're talking about certain like deities or um, how the chakras work or something like that, it's important to make a interesting story behind it that they can follow and understand, just like as much as a kid can, you know. Uh,
Sure.
and if they are engaged with the story, they'll be able to remember and hold on to those um, like that information, those values,
Sure.
and yeah,
No, I think that's so key. You know, it makes it more relevant because it has to be age appropriate, and
yeah.
telling it in a story format makes it make sense for children with the value and that chakra and that deity. So, how often do you do these sessions, and what is the format for these sessions if somebody doesn't know about them?
So the sessions happen weekly, but I rotate with a lot of other people, so it ends up being like once every few months or so. Um, and usually the format is there's usually some sort of theme for the presentation, and you start by raising your kundalini, and then um, discussing the topic or telling the story behind what you're talking about. Like if you're talking about, say, for example, Shri Ganesha, you'll like talk about, um, or like you might tell a story about Shri Ganesha, and then after the story, you kind of discuss what the principles that were being shown by that story, like what are they supposed to be, and then after that, like there's usually like a short little segment from Shrimataji's speech that we listened to so that they can hear directly from her about the topic that's being discussed. And then there's usually, or not usually, there always is like a portion of meditation after that,
Yeah.
where the kids either listen to music or listen to like another portion of a lecture and then meditate.
Yeah. I think it's so important, and I'm so happy that you're giving back to younger siblings, if you like, the ones behind you. What would you say to a parent who's listening, who has young kids? What can you share from a youth's perspective, that what should they keep in mind, uh, that they maybe are missing or not paying attention to from a child's perspective? Like what could help them to connect with their children? What would be helpful?
Um, like specifically to like one child or
Or
just
their own children, yeah, their own children. What could parents do at home to help connect with their children more, understand their children more? Like, what have you found that maybe your parents did that you appreciated that maybe others could learn from you?
um oh, this isn't like necessarily about me specifically, but I think in general it might be a good idea to kind of tap into the like try to figure out what the child's interests are. So like for example, some might like art, some might like music, some might like writing, and you could try to um, communicate um, those sorts of ideas through the mediums, I guess, through which they're most receptive. Because like different children will have different ideas, or like not ideas, but different ways of
Yeah.
doing
Different
things.
interests, and the parents could support those interests and they could
Yeah,
understand. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, to take the interest of the child and go further with it.
yeah.
Uh, what would you say to teenagers and maybe even younger kids who are not very interested in meditating and don't see value in meditating? What could you say to them that tells them that maybe this is something they should think about?
Um, I think for like teens and stuff, it like usually around that age, you kind of talk to your like a lot of friends who uh talk to you about their problems and stuff like that, and then a lot of the times you find that you don't really uh necessarily share similar problems, and like it's a lot of the times like getting your chakras into balance can help um with those issues.
Hmm. That's a valid point, that if you're talking to teenagers and they're seeing their friends struggle with stuff, recognizing that if you were doing this, you wouldn't be struggling with that, and
Yeah,
recognizing that this could help you. This could actually help these very difficult years, make them more manageable or bearable or whatever the word is.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Aditya, it has been a pleasure and absolute joy talking to you. Um, Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much. It was nice talking to you
Yeah,
about
Jai Shri Mataji.
Meditation Aditya.
So thank you everyone who has subscribed to the channel, who is sending us all these comments. We're so grateful for all your support and all your encouragement. We do read your comments, and we are so grateful to hear that these little talks, these little snippets are helping parents, helping children. And really, there is no perfect child, there's no perfect parent, there's no perfect Sajogi. It's just different people sharing what's worked for them and hoping that we can keep the conversation going to help each other. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye for now.